So I've made my La Liga predictions now on the tier list maker after what the predictions I did for the championship. La Liga, there's none of that. I'm not. There's none of that made for La Liga yet, and I could make it myself, but I'm not because I don't want to. I'm too lazy. So I'd rather just show you the standings from the worldfootball.net. You can actually go on each league, any league, and calculate the season. So I've done that. Did it yesterday. I'm recording this. I think La Liga starts tomorrow with Getafe v. I want to say Levante or Getafe. No, Getafe v Alaves. That's the first game of the season for La Liga. I made my predictions, and these are the predictions. 20th Elche. I'll try and, with my knowledge that I have with the teams, why they've ended up here. Elche, they've lost three of their main attackers. The guys that were getting the goals for them, they've lost. Andres went back to Porto. Alvaro Rodriguez went to Bournemouth. And Rafamir is in prison. So yeah, they've lost their attackers. I think most of the loanees like Iñaki Pena, Hector Fort, they're gone. They've really not made any. They brought in Bonanotte and that's it. That's really all they've done. So I have them finishing in 20th. In 19th, I have Alaves. Their team's decent. It's just like a few washed La Liga players, I'm pretty sure. I think they finished like 15th, 14th last year. I think I have them going down this year. Yeah, just don't believe in their quality. Now, similar to the championship, I actually have one promoted team going down, and Deportivo. If I think I can check, yes, this is match day 38. On match day 38, Malaga won, Levante drew, Deportivo lost, and I think Espanyol won. Now, Espanyol beating Alaves, I think. Yes, Espanyol winning. Actually, I don't think it mattered. It slightly mattered. They both won the same points. But yes, Deportivo La Coruña, who have brought in Angelino and Aubameyang, and I will say the three promoted teams, like they could finish mid-table. They have some good quality players who all have the potential to become good La Liga players. But I think Deportivo are going to be the promoted team to go down. Racing Santander, not X, but like iconic, I think, La Liga club from the early 2000s. They're finally back in La Liga after so long, and they have some good players. One notable, Gustavo Peretta, the Colombian midfielder who played ahead of Richard Rios at the World Cup. That's one notable player they have, and I think they'll just survive. Levante, 16th. They lost SP to Real Madrid. I understand that, but I might be wrong. They still have like Carlos Alvarez, dude. He's like a wide midfielder, really tricky. I guess he's a winger, but he can also play in the 10. The defense is decent, and I don't know if they've made replace SB. They have a young Youngdo still, who maybe can actually do something this year. That's all I'm gonna say. But I think they'll survive. And then Espanyol, 15th, 37 points. Flirting with, I'm pretty sure while making that, because it updates throughout each match week when I make the prediction. So at times Espanyol win the relegation, but I think because of their quality, I think their quality edges the teams under them, and the experience. They've got experience. They've got a very aging team, but that kind of equals to a bit of more experience compared to the other teams around them. So I think they'll survive. Obviously, they were in a European spot, and then they dropped off massively at the second half of last season. Malaga, they are the best promoted team out of the three. I know Deportivo La Coruña bought Aubameyang and Angelino, but Malaga's team is good. They've not lost anyone. I don't know if they'll bring anyone in, but they've not lost anyone, and it's a good team. They'll survive. I can feel it. It's close though, 38, a 4 point gap between 18th to 14th. And now the teams that not really pushing Europe at all and just not really going to get relegated, Sevilla in 13th. Not much to say. I don't think they're good enough to push Europe, but it'll be crazy to see Sevilla going down. Getafe in 12th. I think maybe Europe contributes to them finishing in 12th. They are also the second lowest goal scorers. they've lost. They have brought in Enes now back from Bournemouth. That's one signing. And they also lost Lewis Mia, but then they brought in another guy, some other players. So maybe in the Conference League, you never know. They may go on to have a nice run in the deep run in the Conference League. Vallecano made it to the final last year, but I just don't think Getafe will repeat last season. I think there were some teams that weren't as great last year, like Athletic Club, Sociedad, Valencia. In 11th, Osasuna, I think. They've not lost anyone. They haven't really brought anyone in, but I think their quality is relatively good enough to at least solidify a mid-table spot. Vallecano, the last team out of the four. They're not really tinkering with Europe, but they're not going to get relegated. Yeah, Vallecano, Osasuna, Getafe, Sevilla. You guys, you're not going to have that exciting season. I mean, Getafe have Europe, but the other three, your season's not really going to be that exciting. Simple as that. In ninth, Celta Vigo. Now, Celta Vigo, fixtures matter. After 6 games, they are top 2 because their momentum, the fixtures they have at the start of the season are like favorable for them, right? And I wouldn't say easy, just favorable in the order they have it in. But then again, some teams just drop off, and they're one of those. They drop off midway. Simple as that. So they finish 9th. And obviously they were in Europe last year, and then they qualified again last season, but they won't be in Europe again next season. 8th place, I think Valencia, who I can't remember the last time I think this is their best finish in a couple of seasons. I think the season's looking good. I don't think they'll get obviously just getting 8th ahead of Celta Vigo and not really pushing Europe. They were, lurking around, maybe could finish 7th or 6th, but I don't have them there. I have them in 8th, which could be enough depending on performances in Europe by Spanish clubs. In 7th, Athletic Club, they have Edin Terzic. They've not lost anyone. Obviously, they don't sign players, but they've not lost anyone. And Edin Terzic, he got Dortmund to the Champions League final. Okay, he won a DP Pokal with Dortmund. He's a decent coach. Obviously, he's not a Basque or even a Spanish coach. He's a Croatian coach. But hey, Athletic Club will be finishing in 7th. I think the top 6, no offense, I think this will be the top 6. Again, you don't really know which order. Villarreal, majority of the season, top 4 for me. But then near the end, they dropped off and finished 6th place. Again, their manager, they've poached the manager of Rayo Vallecano. They've not lost anyone, I believe. I'm not too sure. They may lose Mikotadze to Barcelona. I'm not too sure about that. They have a good team. But sadly, they miss out. And it's very tight, between 7th to 4th. Only a 6-point separation. In 5th, I have Real Sociedad. They won the Copa del Rey last year, but they finished 10th or 9th. They weren't really that good in the league. So they are in the Europa League, but I think they will be better in the league this year and compete and try and get Champions League, especially with Matteo Pellegrino. He's going to have a full preseason. He's going to have a full season ahead of him. So yeah, I think so. The thing is that you can change this. You can have Sociedad at 7th, Villarreal 5th, Athletic Club 6th. It could all be in any order if you really want. In 4th, obviously in Spain, you look at the big 3 to finish top 3. And then it'll be who gets the 4th? Who's going to be the team that finishes 4th? And I think Real Betis, who finished 5th last year, will be finishing 4th this year and be getting top 4 and Champions League football again. They are obviously in the Champions League this season. They'll be in the Champions League again after finishing 4th on 73 points. Obviously, Pellegrino, the Chilean, former West Ham, Man City manager. He's also former Real Madrid and Malaga manager, I'm pretty sure. They've got a good team. I don't know if they actually brought anyone notable. I know they've brought in a centre back. I don't think they've lost anyone notable. They just have a very washed Premier League team, I think. But yeah, they'll finish 4th. I think they're good enough. In 3rd place, Atletico, at points they were in 6th. They were lingering between 6th, 5th, 4th. They were moving around. But at the end, their quality shows they are. I think they are the 3rd best team, right? They have issues. They need to I think they want to compete with Real Madrid and Barcelona, but they've got to fix some things in their team. And I don't know what's happening for Julian Alvarez. Will he stay? Will he go? We'll see. I don't really think it matters if he stays or goes, if I'm being honest. If he stays, maybe Atletico do slightly better. If he goes, I think Atletico will just finish third. And then between Real Madrid and Barcelona, I think people are thinking maybe Barcelona run away with it because they did it last year, kind of. Or people might say Real Madrid are definitely going to win it. I disagree with both statements. I think it'll be very tight. And on match day 38, Barcelona beat Getafe, Real Madrid beat Deportivo La Coruña, obviously. So they both won. But on match day 37, I actually have Real Madrid drawing to relegated Alaves and Barcelona being Malaga. I think Real Madrid, a couple of my match predictions I made, they kind of just choked. Barcelona, I think one of their losses was against Real Sociedad and Real Madrid. So 2 out of the 3 losses were against 5th and 2nd. I think and the other loss they had was against Deportivo La Coruña. Those were their 3 losses. I had them losing to Deportivo La Coruña away, Sociedad away, and Real Madrid away. And then they had drew 6 games. I can't remember those 6 games. But I don't think it'll be as far. Like last year, I think Barcelona finished ahead massively, and Real Madrid. I mean, not massively, but like 8 points ahead or 7 points ahead. I think this will be tighter because of just Barcelona's. They're only getting players coming back now. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but like Lamine Yamal, Pedro, Olmo, Eric Garcia, the Spaniards who played at the World Cup, they're just coming back now. Obviously, Real Madrid, they've made additions. SB, Jan Diamonde, Dumfries, Bernardo Silva, Konate. Who else? I'm definitely missing. Am I missing someone? Bernardo Silva, Konate, SB, Jan Diamond, Dumfries, and Cucurella. That's the guy I'm missing. They've made, and what's crazy to me is 3 of those signings were free signings. Dumfries, Bernardo Silva, and Konate, all for 0. Well, they didn't have to send any money to their clubs. Obviously, the wages and that doesn't account for it. But they've made signings. They've brought in Jose Mourinho. It is a crazy rebuild. But that's why I think it won't be. I think it'll be close. I think Barcelona will not pull further. I think Real Madrid will be a bit closer this year. But I still think Barcelona will win it because Barcelona's defense is, to me, much better than Real Madrid's defense. Barcelona, though, the signings, Anthony Gordon, Adeyemi, they're good. I think it makes sense. I understand why Hansi Flick signed those guys, but there's obviously the most notable. Obviously, they're losing Ferran Torres now. They could be losing Casador, but the most notable signing, the position they've been looking for is a striker. Julian Alvarez, McTadze, don't know. But they need to bring a striker in. We'll see if they do. If they do, I think they'll definitely win it. If they don't, I think they'll still win it. But yeah, I have Barcelona in first, ahead of Real Madrid. My next predictions will be coming out a few days later. Premier League, Serie A, Bundesliga. Actually, Bundesliga doesn't even start for another 2 weeks. It starts at the end of August. So yeah, because this week La Liga and Championship starts. Next week the Premier League, Serie A, and Liga starts. So I'll have those videos up before then. And then the following week the Bundesliga starts. So and I'll have a video before then. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video, which I don't know what it'll be, but I will be making more prediction videos on the other leagues. So yeah, I'll see you then. Peace.